What's happened is that there never been, if you wanted to think you need to have weapons to take on the government, you need F-15s and maybe some nuclear weapons.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but the people are responding. Americans are rushing out in record numbers to buy F-15s and nukes to fight off the government. Well, not really, you see. That headline was a joke from the satirical website The Babylon Bee. The Babylon Bee uses comedy to help raise concerns over real issues, like in this instance, the president pointing out that he was effectively threatening Americans with nuclear war. Again, maybe, not really. But joining me now, the man behind this website, CEO of the Babylon Bee, Seth Dillon. Seth, thanks for being here. I don't know what the headline here is, that Joe Biden is in an arms race with his fellow Americans, or he's bad at history. I mean, I think the Taliban just fought off a nuclear power for 20 years with guns.
Well, what we're supposed to believe is that a group of a huge unarmed group of Trump supporters stormed the Capitol building and were about to topple the government. So apparently that was possible just a few months ago. But
that's right.
Now we need jets and nukes.
Totally unarmed people almost toppled democracy by charging the Capitol on January 6th. By the way, on that note of a superpower taking on an upstart ragtag group of people, you guys had an awesome headline at the Babylon Bee. I want to put it up for everyone. This is an op-ed, by the way, written by King George. You'll never beat a tyrannical government with just guns. Nice one there, Seth.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the messaging here is so mixed, isn't it? But this is exactly the messaging you would give to people if you want to encourage them to buy more guns and bigger guns.
That's right. I understand also there at the Babylon Bee, and I do want to get to a serious issue, or a little more serious issue with you in just a moment, but I understand you have a new documentary out as well. You've found the latest trend in trans sports. It's motorcyclists who identify as bicyclists. Watch.
I'd always known that something about me was different. There was something wrong. After a lot of thought and reflection, I finally realized that my life as a motorcyclist was a lie. I was a bicyclist.
Joining the race is Norm Hiccup. Wait, I thought he raced motorcycles.
I never felt better. Free to be my true self. Live my truth. Just be me.
Seth, I don't know if the culture has moved your way or you just hired all the talent away, but somehow you are in a better position than any other comedic organization right now to point out the absurdity of our culture.
Well, this is the thing. In this case, we're speaking truth to power. This stuff is coming from the top down. These are the most powerful people in government, in corporations. This progressive ideology and these progressive values are being imposed on us all the way from the top. So we see this as speaking truth to power, but a lot of people are suggesting that these jokes are punching down, and I have a hard time grappling with that and understanding exactly what they mean by that. That's one of the new lines of attacks against us. At first it was, we're spreading misinformation. Now we're punching down at people that we shouldn't be attacking. But that's just a way of them protecting their sacred cows. And I honestly think it's pretty condescending to suggest that you shouldn't joke about certain people because they're beneath you.
Yeah, in fact, I think the New York Times had to have you, or tried to have you, pushed off of Facebook and other places under the guise of misinformation. You at the Babylon Bee sued. You were quickly reinstated because you are satire, you are comedy. Hey, one last point out of personal curiosity, Seth. So a few years ago, people said conservatives couldn't be funny. There was no source of conservative humor. And maybe to some extent they were right. There wasn't a real cultural pocket for that. What's changed? I mean, one thing I noticed has changed is the people that used to be funny, by the way, who all were on the left, they're not funny anymore. So what's changed?
Yeah. Well, they did a lot of the changing. I mean, they started making all these things off limits that you can't joke about, for one thing. So they began to censor themselves, and they began to try to censor other people. So when you start to have this culture and climate where people like Jerry Seinfeld are avoiding doing comedy shows on college campuses because everybody wants a safe space and doesn't want to be offended by anything, you've really changed the landscape there. So they're having a hard time being funny, dancing around all these issues they have to avoid. And so that creates an opportunity for people to come in and say the things you're not supposed to say, the politically incorrect jokes you're not supposed to make. So I think they opened up a huge a gateway there for people to come in and take some of that market share.
And people have. The Babylon Bee, more Facebook engagements than The Onion. Go follow the Babylon Bee. Check out their site. You're missing out, I promise you, if you're not. Seth Dillon, thanks so much for jumping on with us tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You bet.